Over to issues now concerning Lagos State, concerning all of us, as we know that the Lagos State Governor and also government, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has finally banned commercial motorcycles and of course tricycles, popularly known as Okada and Keke Napep. And of course he mentioned about 6 local government areas and 9 local council development areas of the state where they have been restricted to. And just yesterday we know that Okada and some other, yes, most likely Okada, actually did a protest calling for regulation and not ban of motorcycles and tricycles. Let's take a look at that report and we'll be right back.
After consultations with stakeholders, the State Security Council, in compliance with the Extant Transport Sector Reform Law 2018, has decided to commence the enforcement of the law which bans the operation of motorcycles and tricycles in the following local governments and local council development areas.
These aggrieved riders of 2 major motorcycling hailing services in Lagos, affected by the restriction law put in place by the state government, took to the streets bearing placards of various inscriptions. They marched along major streets of Ikeja. The destination was the Lagos State House of Assembly, and the message was simple: regulate our activities and not ban. The protesters, who were orderly and peaceful, lamented the untold hardship the restriction will bring to them.
This is my only work. I'm a good rider. I'm a professional. I'm well trained by Okada. I'm using this Okada now to train myself. I just finished my ND. I graduated last year. This is what I'm using to do my IT. I'm going back for my HND by God's grace. If the government should ban us, I don't think there's anywhere I know to run to.
I'm here to beg for the government for the sake of my husband. My husband is part of the Okada rider. Please, because of my baby, if they ban this Okada, how am I going to cope with my children and my unborn baby?
These foreign people come to invest in our country and they start facing frustration, which is they don't even like it. Some of them now will not like to come and invest in this country.
Max trained us very well. We are more than 1,000 on the road, but there is nothing like accident. They train us on the day like 1 week.
Spokesperson of Okada noted that all concerns raised by the state government and stakeholders had been addressed by his company, which include tracking devices among other security features and well-trained riders.
The government made declaration of that they don't want any bike below 200cc to operate in Lagos State, and my company decided to shift our bike and bring a new bike, which is TVS, which is above 200cc. They talk about driving and answering call. Our company decided to bring a helmet that have a Bluetooth. You can see it.
And I want to question that. I take exception to it. That such thing, debate was conducted, and the operators were never invited. That's unfair. That's unfair.
The protesters were addressed by members of the Lagos State House of Assembly who promised to address their petitions.
Please conduct yourself the way you have done today. Now the government has made pronouncement on this issue. Kindly keep cool and keep to the law until we will call you back. I'm coming. Please, we will call you back. As important as this thing, we cannot waste time on it. But we will call you back. But you have to maintain law. And you have to exhibit the same conduct which you have exhibited today. You have to maintain it.
What they said, but the one thing that is baffling me and that is making me feel sad, as you can see that my mood has already changed, because that's not the kind of response I'm expecting. Because if they say we should just hold on until when, we all know this nation, we all know our state, until when?
All right, you're welcome back. You're still on to Editors Forum, exclusive to Galaxy Television, and that was a protest there by the Okada riders yesterday, calling for resignation and not a ban. Well, according to the Lagos State government, they said their decision was due to the number of road accidents caused by the tricycle, or rather motorcycle riders. And of course, you also talked about insecurity due to the operations of the motorcycle riders. But we also saw them, most of them complain that this was their major source of livelihood. So, Victor Aya, would you agree with this, or would you say that the total ban, or rather the ban of the motorcycle or even tricycle riders was not necessarily in the best interest of Nigerians?
It will never be in the best interest of Nigerians and Lagosians, because first and foremost, some of those people who are riding the Okada or those driving the tricycle, some of them are graduates.
Yeah.
They are not illiterate. They were pushed into such trade because they had no alternatives. And when you find yourself in a situation where you don't have alternative, government should allow them to remain in that option that they have for now. Because when you push them out, what alternative have you provided? This is the problem I have in this country. You see a government will just wake up one day and pull down a market without making alternative provision for those people. You see a government will just wake up one day and say, okay, don't do this, don't do that. Even when they want to build roads, they ask people to go without making provision for them to go to somewhere else. Are you asking them to just go apart from those houses and sleep under bridges? This is the problem we have. Nigeria is a very harsh country. Very, very harsh. You are telling these people to stop their means of livelihood. You have not provided alternative means for them. What do you expect them to do? And the same government will complain of having armed robbers or having kidnappers, and you are the one creating all these problems for this country, because when you pull down a market without making a provision for alternative place for those people to trade, what do you expect them to do? Because once you wake up in the morning, the worms in your stomach don't care whether you are working or not. They will bite your intestine until you will look for something to feed your stomach, and that is why everybody must wake up to do something. So I'm not in support of this ban at all. And they call it restriction in some places. It is not restriction, because the 6 local government areas in which they gave a total ban, they are the business in Lagos State. Then you talk about the nine local government development areas. They are very busy too. So when you ban them in these places, what other local government area are you asking them to operate? And again, don't forget the fact that the reason they gave, they said because of accident. If it is because of accident, then a replace should also be banned. Because anytime there is a plane crash, there is usually no survivor. Even cars should be banned too, because between Lagos and Ibadan, between Shagamu and Lagos and Benin, if you see the number of accidents that are happening every day, they are unimaginable. So should we also ban cars because of accident? Those reasons are freezing excuses. What you need to do, and again, let's not forget the major issue of using them for crime. And I ask, who are the greatest criminals in this country today? Is it not politicians? In some states, you see former governor control only half of the state. What is more criminal than that? And it is because of the act of politicians. That is why the youth who are supposed to get jobs don't have jobs. That's why they take to Okada, they take to Tricycle, and somebody is using that one as an excuse that they use it for crime. Who are the greatest criminal in Nigeria? Those who own half of their states, they are not criminal. It is Okada rider that we snatch a phone of 20,000 that is a criminal. But you that is using your biro to steal billion, you are not a criminal. You can see hypocrisy in this country. This is hypocrisy in the highest level. So the 2 reasons they have given for banning the Okada are not tenable anyhow. Anyway, if you put them into critical analysis, you will find out that they don't hold water, because you don't ban any system because of the evils in that system. If you talk about law, you will have quacks there. We have seen people who were not trained as lawyers that are practiced for upward of 15 years, 10 years. We have seen doctors, people who have claimed to be doctors, who were never trained, that operated people, and people get killed. Have they banned issue of doctor? Have they banned lawyer from practicing because of they have people who infiltrated them? Have they banned politicians because some politicians are stealing? So if we must ban, then we have to crash the system, because you can never see any pure system anywhere. Because in any system you will see corrupt element among them. So you don't ban any system because there are some bad acts in there. What you do, you regulate.
Okay. You
regulate. How many refresher courses or training have they given to Okada riders?
Okay.
Have they called them one day, say, okay, We know this is what you are using to live, but you can only use this system to make money when you are alive. For that reason, don't be hasty in your driving, don't be overtaken anyhow. These are the teaching, the training that they're supposed to give to them. Have they done that? They never do that, but if somebody a politician who is doing nothing, but today they fly there to here, they say they are going for courses. They spend billions. Tomorrow they go to China, they go to everywhere. But the common man, whether I don't know if poverty is a disease, and the biggest problem in this world, every law that is made in this world is against the poor man. Why the big man is flouting the laws? The small poor person who stole bread is the one that is giving 10 years jail, 20 years jail. But the big man who steal billions is let off the hook. Look at Daljo Goje, who was standing trial for 25 billion naira. Yeah. Is the trial still on today? But another man in the name of Oji Okada that stole 7 billion is in the prison today. But another man that was alleged of stealing 25 billion because it's connected, before you know, the Attorney General of the Federation asked for the withdrawal of his case. And no reason was given. So it's a problem to be a poor man.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's look at government policies here. We know that this is not the first time we're talking about the ban of Okada. And we know that during Fashila's time, when they banned Okada, a lot of them went into the use of Tricycle, which is known as Keke na Pep. So how would you talk about government policies now?
Let me first of all start with Obasanjo's word. Okay. He was once quoted that Nigeria is sitting on the keg of gunpowder. And do you know why? Because our politicians don't think, and many of them don't know the meaning of research. The population explosion we are having now is why Obasanjo is saying we are sitting on the keg of gunpowder. You can imagine somebody having 27 children. Nothing like family planning, nothing like thinking, but his building is what is using to feed those children on a political revenue from his political office that's supposed to take care of the constituency as a whole. Is basing what is using from his constituency money to feed those children. So that is a problem. Now, looking at Lagos State government, I understand the reason, one of the reasons Lagos State government is going about this. If you look at the migration from other states to Lagos State on a daily basis, you'll be shocked. Now, many of those people, if you categorize them, majority of them are unskilled laborers. Now, when they come to these states, what they feel is the most easiest for them to quickly lay their hands and take advantage of is that bike. Majority of them don't even train, they don't learn the bike. All right. That on one hand, I understand with Lagos State government. But there's what we call inclusive planning, where my colleague here mentioned that why not put to the option of bringing those people and have inclusive understanding with them. This is what we are planning to do. This is how we think it should be done. What do people see? The way of the accident, according to the Commissioner for Information on Motor, my editor former editor with the Nation, he says that from 2006 to 2013, about 10 years, about 10,000 cases of casualties. He said some deaths, some are not reported cases, some are reported, and they are basing their reason, to restrict them. Now, if you look again at what he said, it's germane. Okay. But all over the world, there's what we call means of transport. Okada, motorcycle are all means of transport. There is no way you can come around and tell us that you want to restrict another means of transport. Like my colleague said once again, that if you want to restrict a particular means of transport, then restrict the one going, the cars going from Lagos to Ibadan, and the ones on the air transport. So instead of restricting or banning anything, why not see how you can manage them? Now let me go technical again. Okay, quickly. The roads you are seeing now, politicians will come, put up any design that favors them, they will just build the road. I wrote on my Facebook, many of these roads, don't outlive them before they leave office. The road will still spoil after commissioning it this year. Before 3 years, it will spoil. Now, no planning for the intersection to make provisions for Okada route. In Cotonou, all over the world, anywhere country.
So you're saying a route now for
a route should be provided on any road to indicate where motorcycles should ply.
Okay, all right. Okay, one word, please. Yeah, Mr.
I have to be one because I want to say something. I don't know. I know it's against the law. Lagos State government cannot enforce ban on federal roads. Some of the roads mentioned with federal roads have employed the people, the operators of Okada and what have you, to go to court. Remember the FEMA last man issue. This thing has a political undertone. When Joe Igbokwe came and said you can't be operating business in Lagos State without approval, we don't know whose interest they are trying to halt with this policy. Then lastly, you are banning Okada. I've been in the traffic from Elephant to Allen. I didn't get to radio in 30 minutes. I saw a woman running helter-skelter with her sick child, dying child probably, in her hands. You've not done the right thing. You've been building, constructing the rail line from Badagry to Marina since 2007. It's not been completed. The roads are bad. In GRA, from PWD now to get to Ikeja under bridge, you have to trek. Even within GRA, how do you want to go there? So this, and another thing they said is because Lagosians are no more artisans, they have to go to Cotonou. Yeah. Sanwo-Olu, Amzat, and the executive council, they should bring their children to go and learn those streets. So if those children succeed in those streets, we cannot encourage Lagosians to them because that is so nonsensical.
All right, thank you very much, Yemi.